Hey guys, it's RPGcaster again for another match with commentary. Today, like I said last week, this will be a match between Nephonic and Darkness D, the Majesty Lord Blaster and Dragonic Overlord the End decks. These two are the two new high tier meta decks. And yeah, they're really interesting decks. Firstly, we have Majesty Lord Blaster, which becomes a permanent 12k plus 1 crit. Obviously very powerful. That lasts of course for both turns. And then on D side we have the Dragonic Overlord the End, very powerful unit, cross riding unit with a very potent Persona Blast. So let's get started here and see how it goes. Interesting thing about all these cards are they are a lot of set 1 cards, but the addition of just a couple units have created a new deck type for the Blaster series, which I saw very interesting. See D opening up with the bar there against Yisol there, triggering to a Gojo, pretty standard. The Dragonic Overlord the End deck is not really any different from most of the standard Kagero decks out there. We see Nathan play the Blaster Blade there, obviously wanting to get off that Wingle Braves effect, and pulls out the K for the extra offensive. K is much like a Guru Bow. It gains 3k when there's a Blaster unit in the Vanguard when it attacks, so it is a great early game-ish kind of play, and it's another mode change card, as we mentioned before. Something that can act as both a supporter and an attacker is always useful. He goes there for the attack with the Blaster to try and get the effect of Wingle Brave through. Let's see if he gets it through. No, Darkness D is pretty intent on guarding it, and luckily Nephonic did not trigger, which is a good thing for him. About the Dragonic Overlord the End deck, it's probably less stable than the Phantom Blaster Overlord build, simply because they don't have the presence of a Dream Painter or Nightmare Painter clone. Nightmare Painter, Dream Painter, basically when they come down to the field, it allows you to soul charge 1 card of your choice from hand. Obviously really good, because you can ride the Dragonic Overlord, the Phantom Blaster Overlord, and then soul charge the Phantom Blaster Dragon. This being a very good play gets you to your cross-rided unit very quickly. Dragonic Overlord the End has no way of getting that extra boost for the end besides first riding Dragonic Overlord, so it's a lot harder to get off all the benefits of Dragonic Overlord the End, but I think its Persona Blast is a lot more powerful. We see Tejas being played there to attack the Wingle Brave. I actually think Tejas is a very good unit because if you think about it, Dragonic Overlord the End is a 13,000 unit. Besides Balomides, there's not really any rearguard units that are able to attack the Vanguard unboosted. So having a Tejas in the deck just enables you to snipe out those back rearguards, and they'll be forced to play another one from hand, or like not be able to attack the Vanguard simply because of that high powered Vanguard on their turn. The Tejas just takes down the support, so it makes it a lot easier for you to guard. Sometimes you won't even have to guard because that unit won't be able to make it through without the extra trigger. So we see D there riding the Dragonic Overlord, which is a good sign, means that he can get the cross ride off later in the game. Although it's very hard to tell what situation is in with the hand he's got. Both players seem to be playing fairly passively, not really playing many units on the field at the moment, but we'll see how they go for the rest of the game. We see D there going the ammo effect, getting rid of that Heat Nail Dragon, very situational card indeed, and then goes for the Vanguard with Dragonic Overlord. Triggers into a Barry and a critical trigger, a very good trigger. Gets a critical trigger as well as that gets the Barry, and you've probably seen there Nephonic's got the stand trigger and the heal trigger. Interesting thing about Nephonic's Majesty Lord Blaster deck, and I'm sure you guys will find this interesting as well, he does not run any critical triggers. Now, this may seem pretty strange for most of you. I mean, not many decks do run without critical triggers, but let's think of it this way. Majesty Lord Blasters already has a crit on it after you've activated the effect. After you've gotten that Blaster Blade and Blaster Darkened Soul, it already has that crit, which means that you don't really need to rely on that extra crit in the deck. I mean, sure, it can get you that extra damage a lot faster, but I think the presence of draw and stand triggers in high numbers is a lot more effective, simply because having that there, you basically give yourself the ability to, I guess, attack multiple times. The opponent is going to use up a lot of hand cards to guard that Vanguard with the extra crit, and just allows you to get off a lot of the rear guard effects. If you look there in the drop zone of Nephonic, he's got the Byron there. A lot of people would probably think that's a bit strange. Byron is like Enigma's Shine for the Royal Paladins. When it hits the Vanguard, it allows you to add 3000 power to another Royal Paladin. With the large amount of stand triggers in his deck, obviously he's going to be able to hit with that fairly often, powering up the other units. It just gives him a lot of combos to deal with. A lot of people will probably disagree with the fact that Byron is a good card, but I suggest you guys give it a try. It's actually a really nice card. We have D there playing the bar in the front row. Obviously his hand is probably extremely terrible, not really being able to play much out there at the moment. But hopefully later in the game we'll see him play more. I mean, he just triggered into the Burning Horn Dragon. Burning Horn Dragon being the Masquerade, the 12k hitter for Overlord units. So we see there Nephonic now playing more units down now that he's got the very dangerous Majesty Lord Blaster all powered up with the critical and just playing it out. Plays a Blaster Dark Column, plays a Paladins with a Margle, which is probably going to use later, and just attacks. Attacks with the Vanguard. Darkness D is probably going to guard with a 10k to ensure that he needs to trigger twice to get through. Oh, very interesting. So his rear guard goes away. He actually aimed for the rear guard, did not notice that there. Obviously because he knew that Darkness D was struggling to put stuff on the field, so hitting a rear guard is good. I mean, just because your unit has a critical doesn't mean you have to attack the Vanguards. Sometimes it's smarter to go for the rear guard. That way you're thinning down your opponent's field. And as you can see, Nephonic's in a very commanding position, being that Darkness D really didn't have much to play down, and he's now had to drop a lot of hand power to be able to maintain attacks on the Vanguard. That Burning Horn Dragon, now actually able to hit the Vanguard, though he goes for the Paladins because he knows how threatening that can be. Overlord going for the Vanguard, and he null guards it. Probably afraid of the critical triggers in the deck since Darkness D plays a lot. And there you go, he's finally got that Dragonic Overlord, the end, in his hand. Hopefully we'll be able to see that in action this game as well. Bellicosity Dragon, he's thinking about it, but he then ends up going for the rear guard. While Bellicosity Dragon's effect is really good, they tend to guard it a lot in the Vanguard, and I think he really just wanted to get rid of that Paladins, it being a very threatening unit on the field. So Nephonic's turn now. He draws into, I think I saw a heal trigger. You can actually see what he draws from the angle of the camera we have there. Has a Pegasus Knight. Obviously you can see what he's going with this. He's got to get that Margle and Soul. Oh, not this turn. Okay. Well, he plays Pegasus Knight. A lot of people don't like this card. Pegasus Knight works very well with the Margle and as well the Sharon. Those two soul charging cards give 3000 power to another unit. And now with the addition of Pegasus Knight, he can attack for even more. The Pegasus Knight was thought to be a really good idea when some people mistranslated and thought that Majesty Lord Blaster's effect happened during the main phase, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore, obviously. But I still think Young Pegasus Knight is a very powerful card because of the manual soul charging cards. So there we see the Dragonic Overlord, the end finally. Now it's going to swing for 21k, although that doesn't really help Darkness D in this situation because of the 12k Vanguard. But at the very least, he's got that off. We probably will not get to see a Persona Blast this game, unfortunately, though. Reason being, he has already got 1 in damage and he's struggling to put stuff on the field. So it means he probably didn't hit into any of the grade 3s earlier either. He's going to attack with the Bellicosity Dragon again. Obviously threatened by the Paladins, but Nephonic's not going to let that through. He knows that the Paladins is his way to victory at the moment, so he's going to keep pressing through. Plays the Bedivere. basically the Burning Horn Dragon from Blasters, and is probably going to go for an all-out attack this turn. Charges the Margol, adds everything to the Vanguard, and gets that boost. Now the Vanguard will be swinging for 24,000, which is now enough to force the Dragonic Overlord, the end, to drop more cards from hand. So there he goes, 24,000 attack, and Darkness D is going to have a pretty hard time blocking, I think. So 2 triggers to get through, gets the draw trigger, and since Darkness D hasn't really got many cards in hand, let's see how he goes with this. He's probably going to be able to survive just, but instead Nephonic goes for the rear guard, again thinning down Darkness D's options. It would be very hard for Darkness D to make a comeback at this point because Nephonic is just pushing the hand down. And here we see a very, very nice combo. The Overlord in the rear guard comboed with the new ammo, which is basically the 10k booster for Overlord units, but it also works in the rear guard by soul blasting one. He's now swinging for 26,000 at the battle meters to try and get the effect through, but Nephonic does not want that to happen. He's null guarded yet again. I think that's the 3rd or 4th null guard. Nope, that was the 3rd, that is the 4th. So Nephonic's been lucky enough to have gotten all his null guards. He rode one, he used one earlier, and now he's used 2 in this turn. Null guards obviously playing a very big part in this game and just keeping Nephonic ahead, not allowing Darkness D to catch up in any damage or pressure him towards the end of the game. So now I think this is final turn. Darkness D's resources have been pretty much spent, and he is really probably not going to be able to get through this turn. Nephonic's going to play it safe, get rid of the Interceptor, which is very smart, and he's just going to play through and try and beat down. Darkness D's only got 2 cards in hand. He's not going to be able to guard all 3, or he's got 3 cards in hand, but he's probably not going to be able to guard all 3 attacks. He takes the damage, and that's the end of the game. Yeah, a very, very nice game by these 2 players. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see the end do much that game. Maybe in a future video, I'll be able to show more of what the end can do, but in this particular case, we didn't really get to see it. As you can see there, D's showing how many of the different cards he really wanted to get out are still in his deck, and Nephonic showing off that drop zone full of null guards. A very good match between the 2 players. Looking at the key cards of those 2 decks, starting with the Majesty Lord Blaster deck, I'm going to talk about 2 cards that are pretty unique to Nephonic's build. First being the Sage Byron, which is a new card, a common card from the new set Booster 5. Very, very good card. It is the Enigman Shine clone of the Royal Paladins. This card is very powerful. Is very effective at applying a lot of pressure. A lot of people don't seem to realize that this card has a lot of potential, especially with the addition of more stand triggers to the Royal Paladin clan. This card can be extremely threatening. As I said before, the Majesty Lord Blaster deck doesn't really need to run criticals, so if you can spend those extra stands, I think there's a unit that's worth looking into, because if it hits the Vanguard, it forces your opponent to guard for more of another unit, and if they guard it, well, they're guarding another unit, which makes it all that much more easier for the Majesty Lord Blaster to get through. The other unit that is very unique to Nephonic's build is the Young Pegasus Knight. Young Pegasus Knight used to be a very good card, especially back in the days when Bakul was not restricted in the Japanese format, simply because that Bakul got you the Pegasus Knights very, very high powered for grade 1 units. However, Pegasus Knight is no longer a bad unit. A lot of people seem to assume that since there aren't any heavy soul charging abilities, that's a bad unit. Not at all, especially with the addition of Sharon, as well as the already existing Margol, these manual soul charging cards that already add 3000 power. Combo that with a Pegasus Knight, and you're looking at something that can potentially hit very hard. As we saw there, Nephonic added 6,000 to his attack, allowed him to attack with 24,000 against a 13k Vanguard. So I think that's proof enough of how powerful this card still is, and it's good to try this card out in different builds. I suggest you guys check it out. Unfortunately, on the Dragonic Overlord the end side, we didn't really get to see much action from Darkness D, but I'm going to talk about one of the cards that I really like in his deck, which is Flame of Promises Ammo, the 4000 power grade 1 that becomes a 10,000 power supporter when it supports an Overlord unit. For a 10,000 power unit that supports a rear guard, it is extremely good. Sure, you have to pay that one Soul Blast, but with Dragonic Overlord's Counterblast of 3 ability that allows him to stand every time he kills a rear guard, and he gains 5,000, you can make that Overlord swing for 16,000 with Flame of Promises Ammo. You can knock out any rear guard and still have that Dragonic Overlord able to attack. And much like Nephonic, Darkness D plays a lot of stand triggers in his Dragonic Overlord the end deck, which means if he stands that Dragonic Overlord again, it's going to hurt a lot. So I think that this card is a really good one to look into. Okay guys, and that is about it. Thanks for watching. This has been RPGcaster looking at the Blaster and Overlord decks, the Dragonic Overlord the End and the Majesty Lord Blaster decks. Next time we have a match will probably be between Dimensional Police and Dark Irregulars. Specifically the new Enigman Rain build with Miracle Beauties, as well as the No Life King build for the Dark Irregulars. However, I may not be posting a video on this channel, like not an actual match, next week. Reason being, I'm actually working on a project for the Bushiroad Australia YouTube page, a tutorial to teach people how to play Vanguard. I'll probably post a video up on my channel to link to that one, and I guess if any of your friends really want to learn how to play the game and none of the other tutorials have really been sufficient, hopefully my tutorial will be able to help you guys out. So yeah, look forward to that, this RPGcaster, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.